welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get our video podcast. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's a Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Aundrea. We're going to be talking about Obama calling people out, Kamala doing the circuit, and Jaguar Wright causing friction. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can't call it. But I can call something.
You always say, I just noticed the last few episodes, you be like, I can't call it. But I am going to call it. When I say you can't call it.
Well, I know you asked me how I'm doing, and I can't call it because I don't know how I'm doing.
Right.
I just know that I got something to say.
That's not what I can't call it means.
Well, actually, do we even know what I can't call it actually means? It's just something that we as Black people say.
Well, everything in African-American vernacular English is contextual.
Right.
So when somebody says, I can't call it, it depends on their body language. It depends on the tone, how they say it. The context matters.
Right.
So when you say, and I say, what up, brother? And you say, I can't call it. To me, that's saying, I'm good. Hey, I ain't got no complaints. That's what it says to me.
I am
but
good.
Then you go, but I can't call it. Okay, so you do have a complaint.
Not a complaint. It's not a complaint.
Well,
so
you do have something to say.
I have something to say. Well, I
Okay.
can't call it doesn't mean I don't have something to say. I just don't have a complaint about anything.
Yes, that's exactly what
Well,
that
look,
means.
I can't call even what I'm about to say.
All right, well,
I
go
can't
ahead.
call it. You know that I redesigned my place, and I got
Yes.
new artwork and lights all over the
Yes.
place.
Yes.
On one wall where I have one of my booty paintings, I typically have
And he means that.
it's a booty painting. I got booty all over my walls. It's tasteful
Yes.
though. Tasteful booty.
It is. It's art.
It's
but
art.
You chose it specifically because it was booties on there.
Yes. Of course I
Yeah.
did.
Got it.
And I'm trying to get the light on the wall to
Mhm.
shoot down on the painting.
Mhm.
And I've been having a real difficult time. So I've
Okay.
tried Gorilla Glue. It has screws, right? I did not
Yes.
want to screw into the wall. So I tried Gorilla Glue. That stuck for a little while. Then it stopped working. Then I said,
Right.
okay, fine. Let me just screw into the wall. The only
Okay.
problem is that behind that drywall is a brick wall, which means I can only use the screws that they gave me to a certain point.
Yeah.
And then I can't hang up the picture because the screws don't go in all the way to the wall. So you would think we'll just get shorter screws, like go to Home Depot, have them cut the screws in half.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't stay in the wall.
Well, you
it
need
pulls out.
anchors.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All that is very complicated. I don't know how to do all of that stuff.
It's not complicated. You
It is.
pre-drill the hole, you put the anchor in, then you screw in the thing, and the anchor keeps it in the drywall.
All right, well, if this last thing don't work, I'm gonna have to hire somebody to come in and do all that stuff. Or I'll just have our brother come over because I know he can do that stuff. Okay. Because I'm vexed. So the next thing I came up with was magnets. Because all the artwork that I have is basically, it's an adhesive that has a magnet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You take the adhesive side of it, attach it to the wall. The painting is magnetic, put it on the wall. You can even move it all around.
Yeah.
It's dope. I was like,
Shout out to Mixed Tiles. Hey, if y'all want to
hold on.
Yeah,
if they want to sponsor us, we ain't gonna give them.
let us know.
Yeah, we ain't gonna just give them publicity. So I was like, let me come up with magnets. Let me attach magnets to the back of this light and see if it works. And it does, except when I attach the magnets to the wall and the magnets to the light, they're pulling towards each other.
Yeah.
And the magnets on the wall, the adhesive just comes right off so it only holds for a little while.
Yeah.
So I tried my last thing today.
Okay.
I super glued the magnet to the wall.
No. You might as well have drilled the hole. After the Gorilla Glue, you might as well have drilled the hole.
Yeah, well, I don't know how to do that. And well, I do know how to do that, but not well.
Go to the hardware store. Tell them what your problem is and ask them to help you find solutions, i.e. an anchor to anchor it in the drywall.
Yeah, it actually came with an anchor. Yeah,
I know it came with anchors because I have very similar lights and mine are anchored into the drywall because I didn't put them in the stud.
Yeah. Okay, so like all that's a good idea, but let me tell you what happened when I used the crazy glue. It dripped all over the place, got on my hands. So immediately I'm like, well, let me go rinse this off real fast. Crazy glue, like it gets stuck real quick. So it's all on my fingers. So I was reading like how to get it off my fingers, and there's all different types
alcohol.
What I didn't have rubbing alcohol. So it said white vinegar, it said soap, dish soap, and then it was like lotions. And I was like, well, hell, today is my Sunday, so I'm gonna be putting all types of lotions and creams on today. Because today is my beautifying day. Yeah. And it's almost come off, but also it started peeling off. So I was like, let me just yank it off, and pulled like a big chunk of skin from my thumb.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm an idiot. I also almost passed out yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Cleaning my bathroom.
No. You mixed the chemicals and didn't ventilate?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the doors were open, but I just wanted the place clean.
When you start getting lightheaded, step out of the bathroom.
Yeah, that's what I did. I stepped out, but I was down on the ground, and at my old age, standing up quick. It's not the brightest thing.
You get lightheaded. That
makes me even more lightheaded. So I'm already lightheaded. Then I get up quick. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, I think that I'm an intelligent person, but I still do a lot of dumb-ish.
Yeah, I mean, it's common sense, and common sense is not, that common. When you buy a product and it includes parts, such as an anchor, you might want to take advantage of the parts it included.
I just hate holes in my walls. I hate them.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just a fact of life.
No, I don't like that fact of life.
If you want to put that specific portrait light up, that's what it's gonna have to be. Now, my portrait lights, it's a plate that goes on the wall because mine are rechargeable. So I have to take them off every once in a while. So they hook on to this plate that's what's actually anchored to the wall.
Yeah, I have the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did that for all the other, because I have like 4 of them. So I did it for all the other ones.
Well, I am coming up for Thanksgiving. If they are not up securely by Thanksgiving, I will bring my tool bag and I will mount them for you, because this is ridiculous.
Y'all hear that? I got to get my little sister to come in to make it label for me, because I can't do it.
The only reason I know is because being a homeowner, you can't pay somebody for every little thing. You got to figure it out yourself. Like, if there's an issue with the plumbing under the sink, I'm not paying for somebody to do every little. I'm going on YouTube. I'm figuring out what part. I'm going to the Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever, and I'm asking them. I'm like, here's my issue, and I'm showing them on my phone. What do I need? Oh, you need a lug nut. Okay, great. Show me where that is. And I do it myself. If I have to change my own, what is it? In the electrical box, like the
socket,
the little spark plugs.
Okay.
If I listen, then I gotta do it myself.
Yeah, I feel you. So, can you imagine me working at Home Depot? Like, I faked my way in the interview and got hired.
Don't know where nothing's at. You're like,
don't know what nothing is called.
Don't know what nothing's called. You just handing people stuff. What you need is this. Now, if you don't know how to work this, then I don't know what to tell you. Look, but this is what you need.
I'd be like, look, I know what a hammer is. I know what drill is. Don't ask me about the drill bits. I know a flathead screwdriver and the other version of the screwdriver. Other than that, I can't help. Yeah. Well, Philip, look, Jesus was a carpenter. I ain't Jesus. Okay.
I don't even think they had Phillips screwdrivers in the time of the Lord.
No, they didn't have no Phillips screwdrivers at the
Okay,
time of the Lord. Look, I'm just telling you what's going on in my life. I broke the light also yesterday.
Oh my
The
God.
magnet pulled itself off the wall and fell to the ground and kind of shattered. So I super glued the part that broke back to it. Yeah, I realize now if I use super glue, I need gloves and I need to be fully clothed, like from
You're
head to
not,
toe.
I'm gonna be honest, and this might be hard to hear, but it's the truth. You're not handy. You've never been.
That's not hard
You've
to hear.
never, you've never. There's always something, either pieces are left over or something's on backwards whenever you've put it together. And I just wish you would stop. I wish you would find a friend, make friends with a contractor or something.
I do have somebody who I'm friendly with. I also don't like asking for help.
Well, you need to learn to start, because after all of that, you might as well have just put the holes in the wall. I understand you don't like holes in the wall. I get that.
Yeah, but now I got Gorilla Glue and crazy glue all on the wall.
Yeah, and dripped everywhere, and
I think some of it got on my finger. It stuck to my finger. I think some of it got on my lip.
That's bad. You don't have any rubbing alcohol. You don't even. I don't even know why I'm asking this. Fingernail polish remover, maybe.
Yeah, I got no fingernail polish remover.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't have that either. So
I almost got all the super glue off. It's just a little bit left.
You just took a chunk out your thumb.
Yeah, I did do that. I also learned that vitamin E oil, if I keep rubbing it, that was been working.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's almost gone. I just don't know where else on my body it dripped, because I was just in a t-shirt and shorts, which was stupid. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, I talk on here, and you know that I'm fairly educated. You know that I have pretty decent critical thinking skills, but when it comes to doing any type of manual labor that's just not something to lift it up and put it down, I don't have that ability. And
you can move things.
Yeah, I can move a lot of stuff.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you need a couch move, a washer and dryer, anything, he can move things and won't scratch up nothing, won't scratch a wall. He'll yell out pivot a bunch of times, but other than that, you can move stuff like a pro.
Right, I can move things.
Put nothing together.
Nope. Well, I did put my little coffee table, my little TikTok coffee table together, and it's still functional. It's working, and nothing came on backwards.
Okay, and all the little things lift up and properly?
I did it. I did. Now, it's a 30-minute job. I spread out over 2 to 3 days. And would work on it for about 15, 20 minutes, take a break, come back to it.
It only takes 15, 20 minutes to put together. So what are you working on for 15, 20 minutes and that you need a break?
It's something about the instructions. I need to watch a video of somebody putting it together, and I can do that. But the instructions and then trying to picture it in my head, something happened with reading the instructions.
You go step by step.
And
you don't have to read ahead. You don't have to read ahead.
You know I'm meticulous. I'm reading it.
You don't have to read ahead. Just step by step. I think you're confusing yourself because you're reading ahead because you know what you want to see what's coming next. You don't need to know. Just go step by step. Step 1. Just look at that. Keep the rest of the instructions folded up so you can't see them. Because you want to get to the end.
Yes, I do.
And you're trying to rush the process. No. Okay. Rest in peace to Kim Bay. No. Okay. It's step by step.
Okay. All right. Well, look, the super glue is up on the wall right now. When we're done filming this, so I'm going to try and put it back up there. And hopefully it stays. It was staying for a while. It was just a magnet pulling the magnets.
I don't think any of the super glue, Gorilla Glue, anything, I don't think painted drywall is a surface, especially because I'm pretty sure you don't have smooth walls.
No, I do. The walls are smooth. No, I'm looking.
Do they have like that orange peel texture, which is like, you ever seen an orange peel? How
Yeah,
it's not
yes.
quite smooth. It's So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I have. Like, isn't that
you
called
want.
granted or graded or something like that?
I always knew it as like an orange peel texture.
Okay, well, yeah, I got that. I got that orange peel texture.
Yeah. That's it. So none of those things
That's
is
not
going to
true.
adhere
That's not true
because your
because my
wall is not
pictures,
smooth.
yeah, our pictures use that adhesive and adhere.
Because the adhesive on the back of the magnets is meant for painted drywall.
Well, let me just tell you, this super glue better work.
It's not going to work because,
if that light fall
again,
one more again, I think I'm gonna have to buy a new light because
it's
it's gonna be broken.
it's gonna fall again.
I
So
don't know.
I
I think this time
suggest
it's
put a
gonna work.
pillow on the floor
Yeah, I'm gonna do
because it's
that.
gonna fall.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was the Dillian Dallianus.
Yeah, I didn't even get to my dilly dallies.
Well,
we
we got a little bit more time in this first segment. What's your dilly dally?
Well, midterms are coming up.
Uh-oh. Okay. How's that going?
Hey, if you think I'm prepared, you thought wrong. And then one of my midterms at the end of the month, but one of them was next week, and I was just in my mind thinking they're both at the end of the month. No. One of them's next week. I am not prepared, but that's okay. Today is going to be devoted to creating my study guide.
Oh, that's real. That's real. That's professional of you.
That's what I do. So I take notes on, our lectures in the class. So I compile it all into a study guide, and I just read that over and over and over again.
Okay.
Is the test open book? It's gonna be.
What you mean it's gonna be?
Listen, did he explicitly say the test is open book? He did not. But did he also say that he's not locking down our browser or anything like that? He did. So he's not doing. So that means, quiet as it's kept, it's open book. But open book's not helpful if you don't know where the information is, and you gotta go to the index, find it, go to that page, then you gotta read through it because you ain't never looked at it before. So people can still fail an open book test because they don't know where the information is. So that's next. And then also I am one of my nieces is turning 16, and I'm doing her sweet 16. Yeah, we at that age.
Jesus.
We at that age.
Is it the one that I'm thinking of?
No, not my best friend's daughter. She already turned 16. She's about to turn 17 in February.
Jesus.
So, yeah. Remember her as a baby, toddler? Yeah. Well, my godson's going to be 7 at the end of the month.
We getting old.
Getting old.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I'm shooting her sweet 16 photos. So I'm getting a lot of texts. I just got some texts with some ideas and outfits, and okay, so now she wants to do the photo shoot Thursday. We can do that. All right. Oh Lord. And every response to, like, when I say, what about this idea? It's usually period or like, So, I'm like, okay, I think that's
PERIODT.
Yes, it's either that or there's 3 Ds at the end.
Oh,
it's
I didn't know about the 3 Ds. Okay.
Yes, period. Right. There's period, and then there's period. Like there's different periods. So I gotta decipher that. But I'm it's always nerve-wracking. So part of me doesn't like taking photos the same way I don't like singing in public, in that you never know what people's expectations are and if you'll fulfill them. So it's kind of hard sharing an art like that means a lot to you.
Yes.
And you just don't know, oh God, are people going to receive it the way that you intend it? Are they going to like it? Is it?
But your success rate is really high.
It's really high, but every
time
feels like the first time.
Imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single time feels like the first time. And I'm getting heavy imposter syndrome in grad school. Because I'm like, girl.
You doing study guides. Do you know what I used to do? I didn't even take notes. I used to walk in the lecture and just be like, I'll remember it. Never remembered it.
Never remembered it. No, this is a complete career data science, complete career departure for me.
Yep.
So I gotta pay attention because I have to learn this because I've already applied for a few internships, and one of them came back from a pretty big company, and they said, "Oh, great! Here's our coding assessment." I got 7 days to do that. I probably got like 2 days left on the calendar to do this coding assessment.
What's a midterm coming up?
Plus a midterm. Like, they want to know that you have these technical abilities. And so I really have to learn it. I can't just BS my way through this degree.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you got to learn it. Well,
I got to do the reading. I got to do the homework. I got to study.
Yeah.
So we'll see, y'all. And listen, wish me luck, please. Because listen, this is what I'm going to tell y'all, ladies and gentlemen. If I don't pass this test, that means some of y'all ain't praying for me. So, I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you believe in. But pray for me, please. Because I need it.
All right. Speaking of not BSing, Barack Obama ain't BSing when he's coming out talking nowadays. And we're going to get into that next. Sis, Obama has been on one.
Yes.
He's been on one. During a rally for Kamala Harris in Pittsburgh, Barack Obama sharply criticized Donald Trump, calling him crazy and questioning his economic claims. Obama argued that Trump takes credit for economic recovery that actually began under his administration.
Yeah.
And we all know that this has been the case. He's been saying, I had a great economy. He inherited a great economy because Barack Obama created a great economy. But that wasn't the only thing that he did. So Barack was, and it's a rally and also in the offices of Kamala Harris's campaign in a certain campaign headquarters in a certain state.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he said in questioning Black men's not being able to like ride with Kamala Harris like they did with him. He said, basically, hey, fellas, basically, this is what he was saying. What's up with this lukewarm support for VP Harris? You know, we're comparing this enthusiasm gap between now and when he was running in 2008. And then, you know, hit him with a curveball, basically saying maybe, just maybe, that some dudes are having a problem with voting for her because she's a female. And then he was bringing up the fact that it was like, look, Black women have always supported us. Why aren't we supporting the Black woman? I'm not going to use a specific quote because I know you want to do that. I just wanted to bring up the topic. But he's out here calling Black men, us, out because you got a lot of Black men. It's not just Black men. It's men in general. But more specifically, Black men not supporting Kamala Harris and not having a real legitimate reason as to why they're not supporting her. So the underlying basis is they just don't want to support women.
Yeah, because any of the reasons or excuses that they come up with for not supporting her have been long debunked, right? Oh, she sent thousands of Black men to jail. Well, we all know that has been debunked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she actually created pathways for folks who got arrested, I believe, mostly for drug-related crimes, nonviolent drug-related crimes,
right,
to re-enter the workforce and things like that. We know that arrests actually dropped while she was a prosecutor for these nonviolent crimes, drug-related crimes. And so that's been long debunked. Anything that they come up with has been long debunked to the point where Barack said, look, it's probably because y'all got a problem with a woman. Like, and just be honest about that. One of the great things I like about people who've been getting out and stumping for her, not just Barack Obama, but but Tim Walz, Pete Buttigieg, all the people who've been out there and stumping for her, is Kamala Harris has created an environment for people to read Republicans for filth. Where Democrats are typically, we're going to take the high road, right? Like Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. Whereas her convention speech this year was like, when they go low, we going to hell, because absolutely not, right? I feel like Kamala Harris, and not only that, her social media team at Kamala HQ on TikTok, they have been getting in people's ass. Okay.
Yeah,
and so she's created this space for people to be honest and to read people. And so you got he don't need an anger translator anymore. He's like, look, Brock's like, hey, I did my 2 terms.
right.
I'm out. Okay. So now I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah, that's what he did. He kept it real.
Yes, all of his stump speeches for her. Anybody that's been out there has been like, hey, these guys are weird and crazy. And are y'all crazy for thinking about voting for them? What's wrong with y'all? Like, everybody's been getting out there and be like, hey, this is serious. Stop messing around. What? I love that Democrats are kind of moving more into a space of like, hey, let's call this stuff out. Like, I'm tired of this. We keep taking the high road and thinking that if you have the moral authority or the moral superiority, that's all you need. No, to hell with that. They have. I'm sick of it. We need to start making stuff up the way they make stuff up.
No, we don't need to make no stuff up. Though.
No,
we don't have to. We don't have to.
The JD Vance couch thing took on a life of its own. It was amazing, and I hope it never stops, because
that wasn't true, though.
It doesn't matter. We all know it wasn't true, but it could have been.
We're going to get into Jaguar Wright and what could have been true just because you say something. But Jay, that was not true.
No.
I don't even know how it possibly could have been true, because I don't know the functionality of something like that. But
listen, I don't either.
I had a conversation with a gentleman last week. He's Jewish. And there's a reason why I bring that up. There's context to this, ladies and gentlemen, so follow me. And he voted for Trump, not once, but twice. He votes based on his pocketbook.
Right.
And for some strange reason, he thought that Trump's economic policies would be beneficial to him.
He doesn't have any.
So when Biden came out in support after October 7th with Israel and supplied them with everything that they requested, he said, I really like that. I'm voting for Joe Biden this go around. I was like, just because he's supporting Israel? I was like, you don't go no deeper than that? And this is a person that's got engineering degrees, law degrees, like all different types of degrees, right? So he's learned.
Not a political science one.
No, he's learned, as my man from Step Brothers would say, a house full of learned doctors. He's learned.
Yeah.
Right. But kind of dumb. And I said, okay, all right, you're voting for Joe Biden now because of that. Then recently he said to me, I'm going to read. First, he asked me, have you heard of Bob Woodward? And I was like, how long have you known me? And you know my story. And like, what type of question is that?
Of course, I've heard of Bob Woodward. Yeah.
He's like, he's got a new book coming out. I was like, the one about Trump? No, that already came out. He's got a book coming out about the Biden administration and their policies in the Middle East. I was like, okay. He's like, I'm going to read it. And then I'm going to read it on election day and then make my decision. I said, what? I thought you already made your decision. Well, no, Joe Biden's not running anymore. I was like, yeah, but his running mate is now at the front of the ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know what she stands for. I was like, she's got a whole website. I would imagine going to the website to understand her policies would be a little bit better than reading a behind-the-scenes book of the Biden administration's with the Middle East. And I was like, and it's almost a continuation of Biden's policies with a little bit of tweaks. So if you were going to vote for Joe Biden, I don't really understand why you wouldn't continue on with that with VP Harris. Well, I just don't know what you stand for. I said, once again, there's a whole website. There's a whole website.
Yeah.
You could just Google her name and the website's going to pop up.
She outlines her entire platform. That is something you will not find with Trump.
Right. And so I was like,
unless you read 922 pages of Project 2025, then you'll get it.
So I called him out. I was like, it seems to me you're not coming up with any logical reason of why you would go from voting for Biden to being a toss-up now, except for the fact that I said woman first, because I wanted to emphasize woman, except that she's a woman and she's Black. No, that's not it. I was like, okay, well, let's just lay this out as a court case. You were going to vote for the person that was ahead of the ticket. She was on the ticket as well. She now becomes the head of the ticket. Now you are all of a sudden having doubts about voting for a person that's going to basically continue on Biden's policies with her own twist, right? The twist you can find out by going to her website.
Right. Because again, she and Biden are not the same person.
Exactly.
So there's going to be differences between the two of them.
Right.
And also they're coming from different backgrounds, different perspectives. So there's going to be differences, which are outlined, as you've said several times now, on her campaign website.
And I said, instead of just doing that tonight, you could do it tonight after our conversation, you could do it. Instead of doing that, you're going to read a book about an administration who's not even on the ticket. Like Biden's not on the ticket anymore. And then you're going to make your decision on that day. And I said, that as an engineer, as a researcher, as a lawyer, that is what you're going to base your decision on. That's the evidence. Well, I don't know. I said, no. So the only logical conclusion is she's a female and she's Black and you're having trouble reconciling with that.
Yeah. There's nothing else. Like, y'all, I get it. You don't want to say, I'm racist and sexist. Nobody wants to say that.
I don't think anybody legitimately wants to say that they're racist and sexist.
Some people do. Some people have no problem with it. I see them on TikTok. And I see them on X. So some people have no problem doing that. And they are not bots. But there's no other explanation, guys. Sorry, not sorry, but there's no other explanation. Then you have a problem with the fact that she is a Black woman. And you had the damnedest time operating under a Black male president. Woo. So my God.
Well, the Black male president led the way. So much animosity that a Black man was in office led the way for those people that were so agitated that Barack Obama was in office to then vote a man that is the absolute polar opposite. They went to literally hell and picked up a candidate and said, this is what we want because we had 8 years of that.
Yeah, okay, because the birthers and the Tea Partiers and the Klan and the Nazis, they all coalesced, and the Proud Boys and all of them, which are just, honestly, it feels like a bunch of white Latinos that are also racist, but they all coalesced under a red baseball cap. And that's what you have today. And that is completely tanking your party because the people in power in that party thought, well, this is a group, this is a dumb, uneducated electorate that we can control, that we can use and we can control. No, you cannot. You cannot control willfully ignorant people.
I just want, we had this discussion, we brought this up last week, and I want people to really go and look at the steps that were done by the Nazi party to gain power in Germany. And I want you to compare it to Trumpism. I'm not going to say the Republican Party because there's still some sensible Republicans. A lot of them aren't in office anymore. I mean, Mitt Romney is literally the only one that I can think of that's left.
Some of them been kicked out the party.
Right. Some legacies have been kicked out the party. That's the reason why I call it Trumpism, not the Republican Party. I want you to just compare them and look at them. And you can't tell me that there's not the same trajectory, that the outline is the same. The conclusion could be the same if we're not smarter. And that's what Barack was talking about. He was like, look, what is this a question of?
Right.
You think that Donald Trump is a man because he downgrades and talks down to people. That's not the sign of a man. That's never been the sign of a man. You know what? Another thing that bothers me, these toxic traits that we prescribe to masculinity, like not admitting that you're wrong. Men don't ever admit that they're wrong. That is by far one of the dumbest things that I think I've ever heard in my entire life. No, grown ass men admit when they're wrong.
Yeah.
That's
they
it.
They take accountability. Adults take accountability.
That's right.
For the things that they say and they do. So if you find you are unable to take accountability for the things you say and do, then you can liken yourself to a child, because a child doesn't know how to take accountability.
And you want to know what's crazy? Men damn sure will call women out for not taking accountability real quick and expect them to take accountability all the time. But we'll sit up there and be like, well, the excuse for the things that we do sometimes. Well, I'm just a man. That's just how we are. No.
Listen,
you can be a grown up.
When your response to taking accountability to something is, well, what about ...
But what about? Yep.
You've already lost me. You've already lost me. Because why are you worried about what's happening over there? We're talking about this specific instance of you doing something you need to be held accountable for. Well, what about? Well, how come? Well, what about? Okay.
All right. Yep.
You lost me.
Yep. Well, did you want to add anything else to Barack on Fire? That's what I'm calling it. Barack on Fire.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the new direction that a lot of Democrats are taking now. And I honestly feel like it started with Tim Walz calling them weird. And once we realized like the traction that it took, not just on social media, but in the media, we were like, wait, we can also do this? Yes.
Been waiting
we
for
should.
it. Yeah,
we
been
should.
waiting for it.
There are Democrats and liberals out there, myself included, who have just been just beyond disappointed with the lack of vigor and vitriol that we really should be displaying to some of the most egregious things that come out of that man's mouth or out of Trumpism, period.
Yeah, you're right. You ain't lying.
And I love also that we're calling each other out and calling each other in. Because that was really a moment. Yeah, because that was...
Call somebody in. Like, I know you outside and your mom would say, come on in and come eat. Like, that's calling somebody in. Call somebody out is that how you want... You sure that's what you're thinking? Because this is what I think you're thinking. How you call someone in, though? That's a new one on me.
You call someone in by making them a part of the solution.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm calling you out because...
I want to bring you in.
I'm calling you out by saying you're not voting for her, or you're thinking about not voting or voting for Trump because she's a Black woman. So that's me calling you out.
I think the Black woman is the icing. I think it starts with woman. I think it starts with woman. And I think this is just my perspective. I think it starts with woman, that people are just like, oh, I don't want to vote for a woman. Both men and women, right, have an issue with that. Then you top that off with a Black woman. Unless it's Michelle Obama, that seemed like the only one that can get general consensus on everybody. She could be president right now if she ran. But you have Kamala Harris, who has literally been in every branch of the government.
Yes. Judicial, legislative, executive. She has worked her way up for prosecutor, through district attorney, senator, vice president, 100% elected official. She was not a DEI hire because no one hired her. A population voted for her and elected her into these positions. That's literally the opposite of being a DEI hire.
And you can't sleep your way to that top.
No.
Let
me explain something to you.
If it had been able to, a woman would have done it before.
We would have been taken over. If you could sleep your way to the top, we would have been taken over because y'all are that easy. So
that's true.
It's not. Come on now. We would have had 2 terms of Monica Lewinsky.
Not Monica. He did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes, he did.
What is sexual relations? I'm not going to get into this specifically.
It don't have to be intercourse. It's sexual relations. He's the one that left it broad like that.
He did leave it real broad. He should have just said, I did not have sex with that woman, and he would have been in the clear. Anyway.
But you added the relations.
Speaking of Kamala Harris, though.
I didn't get to calling people in. So calling people in is giving them space to process what you just said, and then making them a part of the solution. And that's by saying, like, listen, hey, I get it. Because the way society is set up, men are supposed to run things. White men are supposed to run things. The president has always been a white man except for one time.
American society.
American society, yes. Yeah. Well, listen, I don't know what's happening in Bucharest. Okay, I'm talking about America. Okay? I don't know what's happening in Turkey. I don't know. Could be some things. It probably is. I don't know. I'm talking about America. So I get it. But you need to make space for the future. And the future is not necessarily white and male.
No, it's definitely not white and male.
And that's why they're going nuts.
Yeah. Well, nobody ever wants to lose.
No. But nothing
and lose what they got.
But nothing is being lost because, again, this is not a zero-sum game where there's this finite pie and power has to be conserved. Power has to be hoarded with one group because there won't be enough power to go. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
She would be the leader for the entire country.
Yeah, they don't want to see that, though. They don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I like what she's been doing lately. Kamala Harris has been on a significant media tour.
Yes.
Targeting a wide array of audiences with appearances across traditional and non-traditional platforms. She's been on the Call Her Daddy podcast, which Call Her Daddy is specifically geared towards focusing on women, relationships, and sex and things like that. But the host brought Kamala Harris on and even gave an invitation to Trump to come on as well to just talk about women issues. And Kamala Harris just kind of like opened up a little bit more, showed a little bit more of her personality. She was on the Howard Stern show.
Yep.
Right? She did her 60 Minutes interview, the one where Trump says that it was cut and edited to make her coherent and presidential. No, she's just coherent and presidential. And you are
that's
not.
all that is. Yeah.
And then she was on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert and, had a beard and showed that she's, she's
a
down.
Miller High Life.
Yeah, right. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if y'all know anything about beers, but Miller High Life is the hood of the Miller beers.
Yes.
I used to drink Miller High Life when I didn't have enough bread to get me a Miller Lite.
Right. But she got to, appeal to those Milwaukee.
To Wisconsin. That's what she did.
She got to appeal to Wisconsin.
It is the champagne of beers. So there's been some pushback about her not doing interviews. And she was like, all right, well, I'm gonna jump on these traditional and non-traditional platforms. And did you see Trump jumped on a podcast as well where they were laughing him in his face?
Yes.
What is his name?
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah, so Andrew Schultz has a podcast and it's hit or miss with him sometimes because he can be a controversial figure. I don't know about comedians having podcasts talking about important issues if they're not ready to have important conversations.
Right.
Not everything is a joke.
And Andrew Schultz has been known to be denigrating towards Black women.
Well, that was just recently. I don't know if he has a history of it.
He has a history of it.
He has a history of being denigrating to a lot of people. He was mocking Trump straight to his face.
To his face.
Trump said, I've never lied about anything. And the whole cast on the podcast broke out laughing.
He said, I'm a truthful person or something like that. And yeah, they laughed in his face
Laughed in
because
his face.
that's
I don't think that came out the way he wanted, as opposed to
no.
Kamala Harris is getting rave reviews for each one of these interviews that she's doing. Did she? Oh, and The View. She was
The
on The
View.
View
Mhm.
when her and Whoopi had a look, and all Black people know that look.
That look said Whoopi looked at Kamala Harris and said, that look said, that's my girl. That's
Mhm.
my girl right there. She about to be president.
Right.
It was that look Black women give each other
Mhm.
of just like, go ahead, girl. You better go.
Well, wait a minute. Black
Come
women
on,
have given
girl.
me that look too when they're
Yes,
proud.
it's
It's a look of
pride.
pride.
It's a
Yeah.
look of pride that Black women give. And we just be like, this the future right here. Like that.
Well, maybe. We don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and she came over to visit me during my visiting hours. Came
Okay.
over.
Oh, you did have
During my visiting hours, came over to
Okay.
visit me, and she was like, "She's got to win. She's got to win." I was like, "Just prepare yourself
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
some disappointment, because I can tell you what, Trump's supporters don't be Trump supporters,
Right.
and people that think that they're losing power are going to vote for Donald J. Trump." So
Mhm.
yes, this is hopeful, and
Yeah.
she's doing all these interviews to show people her personality, because like with vice presidents, you really don't know them.
Yeah.
You don't know 'em.
And to reach people that she wouldn't ordinarily reach
Mhm.
by going on alternative media. So it's one thing for her to be on CNN or MSNBC or even to do 60 Minutes because she's kind of speaking to people who are already going to vote for her, right?
Oh,
So
well, she's speaking to people that already know her.
right.
They not necessarily may vote for her, but like know her and pay attention and have been paying attention since she became the head of the ticket.
Right.
So
And
going
she
on Howard Stern or going on, well, even Steve Colbert, but going
Yeah.
on Call Me My Daddy. I think that was the name of the podcast.
Call Her Daddy.
Call Her Daddy
Yeah.
podcast. Like doing that type of stuff where people, there are a lot of people out there
Mhm.
who are just not engaged in politics.
Yeah,
It's like, I
but-
just don't want that in my life. My life is stressful enough. And I
Yeah.
kind of get it.
Yeah.
I kind of get it. You don't want to add, look, in preparation for these shows, I'll be stressing myself the hell out, reading and researching, because I'm just like, God, this is so depressing. So
Yeah.
I understand why people will want to wipe it out of their life. But this election is very important. Matter of fact, dare I say, every election for the rest of our lives, if we don't get a wrap on what's happening in this country, is going to be extremely, extremely important.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of the 1992 election where you got three candidates, but two candidates that are part of the Republican and Democratic Party, and Herbert Walker and Clinton, who are fairly similar in their policies. Like, gone are those days. Now
Yeah.
it's extremes.
Yeah.
There isn't a whole lot of common ground. So
Right.
every election is going to be important. And people need to prepare themselves that she might not win, but going on these platforms, these non-traditional platforms, to reach the people that are just like, I don't want to pay attention to politics. I'm not saying that Call Her Daddy, that the listeners are not interested in politics. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in all of these non-traditional platforms,
Right.
most of the time people are just like, I'm just on this to just laugh and take my mind off of stuff.
Right.
She's going on here, being personable, laughing,
Yeah.
drinking champagne and beers, but also
Yeah.
giving you policy.
Right. And do you know how many? I mean, The View is the #1 daytime talk show,
Mm.
and it has been for quite some time. It has a gigantic viewership of primarily women. So her going on that show, she's reaching people who might not be, like you said, politically engaged. They just watch The View to hear these women, discuss the topics of the day. Now they're getting to see her her personable side. And one of the cool things that's come out is during a commercial break for The View, a few of the kids in the audience, she wrote absence excuses
Right.
because they missed school to come to that taping of The View, and she wrote them all notes from the vice president excusing their absence and thanking the educators for what they do. Like, I'm glad that we got, that was also captured and put out, because we needed to see that side. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen it.
And I love the interaction that she had. She was writing one of them. She was like, "This is just today, right? It's not for no couple days. This is for today.
This is for today."
Yeah, I mean, the more I see the behind the scenes, where forget the convention, forget anytime the debates. It is clear, educated, intelligent woman that is presidential.
Yeah,
like I got that.
Yeah,
Right. When you get to that level, you're supposed to be polished.
Yes.
We just have had some person over the last 12 years that's extremely unpolished.
And unserious.
And unserious. So I get that. And that's great. Right. But I like seeing more of the human side.
Yeah.
Right. When she lets her guard down.
Yes.
And the last presidents that kind of did that, I'll give W. W would let his guard down and kind of show his personality. Barack, definitely. And then Bill, right? But other than that,
Biden, Biden will get out there and be like, "Hey, come on. And by the way, hey, I'm being serious."
Right.
I'm doing Dana Carvey's impression of him on SNL, which is top tier, by the way. But he'll get out there and he'll say, "It's stupid." Biden will get out there and say something dumb. He was the pit bull that Barack couldn't be.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is part of the reason Barack chose him as the running mate, because he could say, as an older white statesman, things that Barack, as a black man, could not say.
You're right.
There was also, I wanted to talk about her appearance on, she did a town hall on Univision.
All right. Okay. So let's table that.
Okay.
Let's table that. Let's move this on to another segment, because we've been going 30 minutes strong and people need a quick break.
Okay.
A quick break.
Yeah.
Because we've been hitting them we've been throwing some stuff at them. So ladies and gentlemen, let us take a quick break. And in the next segment, we're going to continue on with Kamala Harris's appearance on Univision.
Univision.
Yeah, okay. I can't do that. And then we're gonna get into Jaguar Wright. We're gonna do all that next. All right, Jay. So before we get to Jaguar Wright, we want to touch on one more appearance from Kamala Harris on Univision, but you enunciated and pronounced it so much better.
Listen, don't know if I'm saying it right. I just put a little sauce on it, so I apologize if y'all but that's not how you pronounce it. Well, I'm sorry. But she had a great town hall on Univision, and there was a young lady in the audience who had 6 weeks prior lost her mother to cancer, I believe, and she was able to get legal status for her father. But she was never able to get it for her mother due to the changes in the laws and things like that. And as everybody knows, Kamala lost her mother as well to cancer. And her question was a really poignant one about creating pathways to citizenship, because she felt that her mother didn't get the care that she should have and that she deserved. And it was just a really touching exchange between the two of them. And then after the town hall was over, VP Harris went right over to that lady and held her hands, and they just talked and chatted for a little bit. And that's that level of compassion and empathy that she has that we just don't see from, I can't say we don't see it from male candidates, but it's not. Empathy and compassion isn't really what's prided in masculinity, right? It's more about strength, intelligence, control, dominance, like things like that. Being compassionate and being empathetic is not a trait that's prized, but being compassionate, empathetic, nurturing, these are traits that are prized in womanhood or in femininity. And I think that is something that is really needed in our politics. We haven't really had it at that level before, to have a candidate who you really feel like understands where you come from, because Trump does not. He's never had to think about childcare, which is why he couldn't answer the question, why he thought tariffs, even though I don't want to get started on tariffs. I'll have a whole tirade about tariffs in the After Hours show. If y'all want to listen to it, it'll be a lot of cussing. But he's never had to deal with childcare. Has he ever taken care of an aging parent while taking care of his children? No, he doesn't know what any of these things. He's never been middle class. He's never been working class. He doesn't understand what these people need. He doesn't, grocery, sounds like I don't know, the stomach is talking. What are you talking about? Because I'm sure this man doesn't know what groceries are.
I'm sure he's gone grocery shopping.
Why would he have ever? Why would he have ever? Why wouldn't has it ever been just food appears at dinner time?
Well, that's funny. I will say, and I'm not knocking Hillary Clinton. I'm not, because I believe Hillary Clinton to be brilliant.
Yes.
But I want to say the differences in Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton are very poignant in that Kamala Harris is showing that empathy and compassion where we never really saw it from Hillary. And it seemed like Hillary was a little robotic, which turned some people off.
Well, what I think the misstep was with the Clinton campaign was they tried to put her on par masculinity-wise with men, instead of letting her lean into being a mom and a grandma and understanding, women's issues and family issues and things like that from that perspective, because that is who she is.
Right.
Instead of letting her lean into that, well, we don't want her to be too feminine, we're going to put her in these boxy suits. Yeah. Kamala Harris wears suits, but they're gorgeous. And, you don't ever see her in a dress. She's always in pants and a blazer and everything. But, it's still, I feel like you're getting more authenticity where we didn't get to see the authentic Hillary Clinton. Because it felt more like she was trying to play a role to seem just as strong as a male candidate.
Yeah.
Whereas Kamala really doesn't have to do that, because she's like, I'm a Black woman in America. I am just as strong as a male candidate, and I can absolutely just be myself.
Well, I kind of like the contrast. When I'm going to equate things to wrestling before we move on to Jaguar, right? Just to make this point.
Yeah.
WWF and then E is whenever anybody thinks of wrestling, that's what they think of. And there was this company called WCW that had been in existence since the 80s. That was the second competitor, which was the Coke to the Pepsi, right?
Yes.
They hired a new man to run things in WCW because they just weren't competitive. His name was Eric Bischoff. And he was like, okay, what can I do to be different than them? Because WCW had tried to be the same to compete, but they couldn't compete against the original, right? You can't mimic something and when the original is still the original and is better.
Yeah.
You have to be different. So he said, okay, well, they have a tape show. We're going to be live. They have cartoonish characters. We're going to deal in real life characters, right? Just being different. And he grew the company to the point where they were surpassing the WWF. I think showing this contrast.
I love WCW.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't. Showing that contrast that Kamala Harris is doing with Donald Trump and to Hillary, right? Not trying to show this masculine side, but leaning into the femininity of who she is, because she already has the strength being a prosecutor, being in every single branch of the government, being a Black woman, being a mom, all that shows strength. Lean into the other stuff, and I think that's really dope. So yes, when she shows that type of empathy and humanity, and then you contrast that to Donald Trump and them saying on January 6th, hey, your vice president is kind of in trouble and it's been documented, and he says, so what?
Yeah.
When you know one person actually cares about people and the other one doesn't. But speaking about people that are saying things
boy, oh boy.
clearly seems like they don't care about people. Jaguar Wright. Well, y'all might not know who we're talking about. You should, because she was just on Piers Morgan, and I'll get to that. But she's a singer, songwriter, neo soul, by the way, songwriter, artist. She's done albums and all that stuff, but that's not important. We're going to get into what's important about her. She's made several controversial statements over the years, particularly on social media and on different podcasts. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she gained attention for making unverified claims about various celebrities and music executives, including allegations of sexual assault and child endangerment. If you say those two things out in the technology world, social media world, you're going to get attention, because it's one thing that people do care about is child endangerment. You're going to get, even people that don't like kids is going to be like, we got to protect the kids.
Right.
You're always going to get their attention when you're doing things like that. Some of her claims have coincided with actual legal cases. So like a broke clock is right twice a day.
Yes.
Guess what? That clock is still broke as hell. It can't tell you no time. It has lost its function, but it can still be right twice a day.
Yes.
She claimed stuff about Sean Diddy. He is facing federal charges, and she said that, he had some sexual assault allegations before. She accused Common and Talib Kweli, two rappers, of allegations, unsubstantiated, by the way, of rape and sexual misconduct. And then, of course, she made claims about R. Kelly, but those weren't really, like, everybody knew about R. Kelly before the cases. But let's get to Piers Morgan. She recently appeared on Piers Morgan's show, Uncensored, where she made explosive allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah.
She referred to, go ahead.
Piers Morgan is just tabloid TV, but even he
used to be a credible journalist. He
should have vetted this.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that, because I had a conversation with somebody about journalism and how he failed to
do his due diligence.
Exactly. Yeah. But let's get to what she actually said about Jay-Z and Beyonce. She referred to Jay-Z as a monster and accused the couple of various misdeeds. These claims were later deemed totally false by Jay-Z and his legal team. She said that Jay-Z, like I said, is a monster, and accused him of various misdeeds, including keeping people against their will and putting them on a plane while they're unconscious. And she claimed that Beyonce was complicit in these actions and suggested the couple had hundreds of victims. Wright also implied that Jay-Z and Beyonce were involved in criminal activities similar to those of P. Diddy Combs. What was Jay-Z and Beyonce's response to it? Following Wright's appearance on the Piers Morgan show, Jay-Z and Beyonce's legal team issued a legal ultimatum to Morgan, demanding that the interview be edited to remove the false claims. Piers Morgan agreed to that and came on air and apologized and edited the interview to comply with the legal request. Now, my friend that came over yesterday, not versed in the hip hop world.
Right.
So she was like, well, Jay-Z and Diddy, they're like thick as thieves, right? I'm like, no, they're not. She was like, I thought they were connected. Like, no, they're not connected. They were like they're two separate record labels and entities. They're not connected at all. Oh, well, I thought, when she made those statements, I was like, you got to understand, she has no credibility at all. But they did file legal action. Yes, because Piers Morgan holds a journalistic responsibility to not allow people to come on air and defame them.
Yes.
With lies and without evidence.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's the reason why they sued Piers Morgan. And they just said, take out the false claims. Don't get rid of the entire interview, but take out the false claims. If she got evidence to back it up, let her back it up. But she ain't backing up nothing.
No. Yeah. Jaguar Wright belongs on these obscure podcasts that are basically interviewing her for clickbait. And we listen to the sometimes insane things, sometimes maybe accurate things, but sometimes
Like I said,
it's mixed in with so much shenanigans that you really don't know what she was privy to. She's clearly somebody suffering from untreated mental illness. But even a tabloid journalist like Piers Morgan,
he doesn't present himself as a tabloid journalist,
but we know that is what he is.
but he's become that.
Yeah, he's become that. That even he should have vetted this and not allowed someone to just come on his show and without him shutting it down.
Right. Like,
and
a quick question is, what evidence do you have to back up any of these claims?
Right.
That you're
because
saying?
you know she's not using the word alleged.
Mm-mm.
She's just saying things. I've seen her. I've watched many a clip from her.
It's entertaining as hell.
It's entertaining. And do you question that some of the stuff she's saying might be a little true? I mean, it's the same thing with that Cat Williams interview on Club Shay Shay, where you're like, okay, some of this, did you really read that many books? No. But if Diddy asked you to party, you got to say no. Like, that's...
Like I said, a broke clock is right twice a day.
Right.
That doesn't mean that when you look at that clock on those times that it isn't right, that you're going to take that as, oh yeah, that's the right time. No, it isn't. You're not going to use that clock to tell time. It's still right twice a day. So there are people that say crazy stuff that 98% of it is completely asinine. But that 2%, they might be right on, but that doesn't give them credibility in everything that they say.
No, she completely lacks credibility. So she should have never been on primetime television.
No. And people comparing Jay-Z to Diddy, there has never been, and it's people who really just don't understand hip hop. They just don't understand the culture of hip hop. Jay-Z was not having parties like Diddy.
And now, do I have my own issues with Jay-Z?
Oh yeah, no.
Yes.
I mean, he's misogynist. He probably has some stuff about him.
The album with him and R. Kelly, Best of Both Worlds, should have never existed.
No, it shouldn't have existed. Especially when his partner and his closest friend was actually dating Aaliyah during the time.
Yes, and
of the recording.
you knew.
Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Yeah. So
everybody knew.
So the fact that after that, after knowing all of this, you didn't have to make that album. No, we weren't asking for it.
I mean, it was a hot album.
We weren't asking for it. You didn't have to make it.
Sometimes
nobody was saying, you know what, there should really be a Jay-Z and R. Kelly album. Nobody asked for it. You didn't have to do it.
Did anybody ask for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or did somebody just one day decide to put peanut butter and jelly together on a sandwich and then found out it was delicious? Yeah,
but Peanuts ain't never married no underage girl.
That's very, very true.
So
I'm just bringing out an analogy that sometimes we want to ask for stuff and it's still great.
Moving on.
It's okay. I done pissed my sister off, ladies and gentlemen. I know that look. That look is if you was around right now, I'd punch you in your eye.
I would. I'd at least throw something at your head.
My thing was, as I was telling my friend who's not versed in hip hop, right? She doesn't even really listen to hip hop like that. And it was thinking that, this Jaguar, right, was just unveiling the seedy business of other people's lives, and then say, well, it is kind of weird that everybody's always thanking Beyonce, and that's part of the rituals, that they're so powerful that everybody thanks Beyonce. Well, you might want to thank Beyonce because maybe you want to be associated with her in somehow, some way, and maybe do a song with her because you know that song gonna be a hit.
She's literally the biggest artist right now.
No, that's Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is the biggest artist.
Okay.
Yes. She's, and Taylor Swift got a little something to say to that too.
But
she's one of the biggest artists.
As far as longevity, can't nobody touch her. Compared to her, they're relatively new.
Yes.
As far as her longevity and just being on top for so long, Like, I don't know how a new Jay-Z album would fare, but a new Beyonce album, come on.
Well, if he went back to his American Gangster rhymes, because that soundtrack was hot, but we're detouring. It's just, it bothers me that somebody like this gets a platform and people who don't really understand hip hop starts to believe this stuff. And then you got people on social media like, well, it's all true. And she's breaking the door open and telling us the truth. No, this is a person that we all know and have known for a long time, that she might say some stuff that you'd be like, well, okay, I kind of see what you're saying. But the majority of what she says is idiocy.
Yeah, and she has no access to the people that are involved in the things that she's saying.
None.
She might have taken a photo with Jay-Z back in 98, but that doesn't mean who didn't. I could probably dig up one. I could probably dig up. I took a photo with Destiny's Child back in the day when Miss Tina was still doing they outfits. Like, I probably could dig that up, you know, something from 106 and Park. I don't know, but the fact is, she doesn't have access to the people or the places, you know, where these things are happening.
None. And on that note, I'm done giving her any more attention. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I brought this up is because pay attention to the sources of which you're getting your information from.
Right. If that's the first time you ever heard of Jaguar Wright in your life, then take that with a grain of salt.
Right. And then take what she says with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Now, if somebody close to the, if Kelly Rowland.
Right. If Kelly Rowland come out to say that she was a member of Destiny's Child, Beyonce's right-hand person, been the best friend for
best friend for their entire lives.
If she come out and say something,
then I'm like,
okay.
Oh, well.
Or if Memphis Bleak, Jay-Z's right-hand man, known him since they were kids, if Memphis Bleak come out and say something,
then I'm like, oh.
Okay, that sounds not Jaguar Wright.
Did I listen to a lot of the stuff Dame Dash was saying? Yeah, I did, because he was there.
Yeah, he
was privy to it.
Yeah, he was.
Maybe there's a little hostility and bitterness in there somewhere.
There's definitely a lot of that.
Yeah, so maybe some stuff is exaggerated, but I'm listening to the things that he's saying. Like, you know, if it's the people that are been privy to it saying stuff, then okay. But I can't even remember a Jaguar. I do know that I have listened to her music before. She is a great singer. I can't name one of her songs off the top of my head, but there was a neo soul movement in the early 2000s.
They had its own show on BET.
Yeah, so you know, we got a VH1 soul or something like that. We even got that, like, you know, but. Yeah, if you don't never heard of this person before in your life, then go ahead and take that with a grain of salt.
Right. But Jay, you just gave him some advice, but is there anything else you want to leave the people out here with today?
Same thing that I'm going to say every episode until November 5th. Get out and vote. A lot of registration dates are coming up or have already passed, so I hope you all are registered to vote. If your registration date is coming up, take a friend, take a family member, take somebody you hate. Doesn't matter. But vote. Early voting is starting. I know in Georgia, ours starts on the 15th. So get out there and don't wait for those lines on election day. Get out there and vote early if you can.
And on that note, I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. Whew. That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast. But the real party is on our Patreon page. After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspectives.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you're really feeling genuine and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace. Freedom over fame.